Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. This is HD, and I'm coming at you guys with, once again, another game from the IPL3 Mapmaker Tournament. As you guys all know, this is a tournament that was featured by IPL, the company that I do work for, where we basically took some user-submitted maps from the community, and we decided to go ahead and feature them in a tournament. The last game I casted was, what was it, between Complexity MVP Tales and Saladin, which was a Protoss versus Protoss mirror, but it was a very interesting one, and I thought I'd rebroadcast it for you guys in the community. That map was called Sandshore and Mists. This map is called Atlantis Spaceship, and this one was also casted by IPL. So once again, I'm bringing you guys a broadcast of a game that was casted live already, but I know that a lot of you guys probably didn't see that yet, so I figured, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and take the best of the best, and this is another one that I really liked, and it's a different map. It's Atlantis Spaceship. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a quick the tour guide, I suppose you could say, to the map, and here it is. This is the main of the Zerg player, and it's a two-player map, by the way, and the Zerg player is going to be d.Killer. And I suppose I should introduce the players. The Terran player is going to be my teammate xSix.Ver, so it's going to be a TVZ. But anyways, getting back to this map, you guys can see that we do have a main. Everything looking pretty standard there. Natural down here, everything looking good as well. And there is obviously a very easy way to kind of close off the natural. And this is something that you're going to see in most StarCraft 2 maps. Maps where you are able to just grab a natural very easily and kind of hold that off. That's pretty key for maps to have, I think, for a very stable, you know, environment in StarCraft 2. Barring that, really, the map starts to fluctuate a little bit. You definitely have some low ground mechanics leading into the middle. One interesting thing to note is no gold expansion, but you do have triple geyser in the middle. And the thing about the triple geyser is the one in the back, which is covered by steam vents, is actually a rich Vespene geyser. However, the balancing factor in that is that it is on the ledge over here, which means it can be attacked by a lot of things. So a very interesting mechanic there. Rather than having gold, which a lot of maps feature, it's going to have a triple gas, and the back one is rich. Besides that, what else do we kind of have? We have a Xel'Naga Tower in the middle here. This is where a lot of the middle battles are going to be fought at, but we also have kind of this air lane on the left side where a Xel'Naga Tower can also be held to kind of give you vision over dropping lanes. So that's very interesting. And then you also have this entire field on the right side of the map that you can kind of walk around. So you have 3 attack paths in this map, essentially. And they all kind of go the same way. Obviously, all roads lead to Rome here. But, you know, it's still going to be a very complex environment. And once again, as I said before, this is one of my own personally highlighted replays that I selected because I felt like these particular games were really good. So hopefully you guys buckle up and get ready for a good cast here. Now this is going to be xSix.Ver, my teammate. And Ver is actually a really good Terran player. Obviously, I'm not going to say he's a bad player, and he's not. He's extremely talented. I've seen him play a few times before, especially live, and he's a very talented Terran player. I'm fully expecting him to play to his fullest potential here. One thing that he does do quite a bit is he will just play a very macro game. He's, I guess you could say, a very passive Terran player, and he definitely sticks to macro because most of the time macro is going to be key. It's going to be your vehicle to victory. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, that's just so key in StarCraft 2 to realize that it's not always about kind of cheesing your opponent, playing aggressively. It's a lot of times it's just about, you know, building up your army, getting bigger, getting badder, getting stronger, and then kind of winning. And that's the mindset that a lot of players should actually take. Hold that thought, though. We do have a bunker being built on the outside of the third hatchery here. Looks like Killer also kind of subscribing to the macro mindset here, where, you know, expanding, getting all your drones, getting your money is key. But there is a bunker being built outside the vision of that third hatchery. Now, this isn't nearly as it's not nearly as, you know, bad as having it being built at the natural, because right now there's already a spawning pool, obviously, and so the Zerglings are already out. So I don't know if how much bunker this damage is actually going to do, although 3 Marines are making their way in there, so maybe Ver can get some damage out. Now the hatchery is most likely not going to be cancelled here. This is just too crucial for the Zerg to maintain. He needs to kill off that Marine, though. He can't let it get inside the bunker. Oh, it's at 10 HP and it hopped inside. Oh, that was a crucial mistake right there from Killer. And now Killer is going to have to be building more Zerglings if he wants to eventually take this bunker down. The hatchery is in the yellow bar right now. He's got to get the Zerglings to surround it, and it looks like he should have enough Zerglings to do this. He definitely wants to sick one of his Zerglings on the SCV, repairing though, and he does exactly just that. So all those Marines are going to go down. The bunker goes down. The SCV dies as well. Fumes and fires and flames being left from the carnage and wreckage below, but some indirect damage certainly was done, because now you've got Zerglings on the map which are, well, pretty much worthless. They can't really do anything now because you can't run by a Terran frontal wall like that. That's a 5 supply depot wall, and unless you're committed to Baneling busting it, you know, you're not going to be able to run by. Very key and very crucial, obviously, for Terrans and Protoss to always seal off their front door. Zerg is kind of like the running faucet. You want to seal it off. You don't want to have a single opening where Zerg forces can kind of flood in and start to overwhelm your army, especially in the early game, because your army really isn't going to be nearly as big as a Zerg mass. So Ver here just playing very safe defensively, even double bunkering up, starting to get Hellions out. So his ability to deal with Zerglings is pretty much foolproof right now. But Killer, wow, he is getting a Baneling nest. I don't think this is going to be for a Baneling bust, though, which obviously is a very aggressive way to just kind of bust down the front door. I think he's just getting the Baneling nest because he's going to go mute a Baneling, and that's indicated by the quick lair here. I'm pretty sure right now he's just going to go ahead and rock Mutalisks and Banelings, which is a very powerful, comprehensive strategy to dealing with the Terrans, but it is more of a mid-game strategy, so we're probably going to see both players just kind of sit back here, macro, get their infrastructure online. We can see Ver certainly focusing down and really doubling down on his infrastructure, as he's got double engineering bay, armory as well coming down for upgrades. He's got mech rolling and Marines. He probably should get some more barracks pretty soon here. And I'm sure that's going to be in the works momentarily. But he is actually, wow, moving out with a very interesting timing push here. Wasn't expecting this. I don't know if Killer's prepared for this. This is actually a pretty decent sized army, although the thing here is that since it's such a long distance map, even if you take, you know, even though it's a 1 versus 1 map, it's still very far away. So the Hellions are separated from the Marines right now, although they do have blue flames, so they're pretty damn good. Even by themselves. Now the Marines are finally kind of starting to catch up. They're going to pick off some Overlords here for free, and that's pretty big for the Terran player right now, because Ver is essentially supply blocking Killer. Killer will not be able to build more forces, but the Zerglings are going to get a surround on the Blue Flame Hellions, getting them backed up into the corner. A lot of those Hellions are going to go down. The Banelings now training on the Marines. Very beautiful play right there from Killer, and Killer with a brilliant hold in the middle of the map. That was a very key hold right there, essentially killing off everything, and I don't think he lost any drones at all. Very well done right there. So basically, he holds off the attack, and I think, well, I think at the very least, both players kind of traded pretty evenly in terms of army, but obviously Ver did not achieve the goal of killing any workers, and he did not achieve the goal of finishing off this hatchery, which earlier was kind of bleeding. Now it's like getting bandaged up and starting to heal up by the natural law of the Zerg, everything organically regenerating over time. So Killer certainly holding that off with a pretty good defense, but Ver is starting to rebuild again. This is the thing about Terran players. Their attacks sort of come in waves. If the first wave should fail, you never fear, never surrender, never die. Second wave will come, third wave will come, and we can see now that second wave starting to build up. And this time it's going to be backed by a much more powerful mech backbone. Rather than the weak and flimsy Hellion, we're going to have the almighty siege tank here, and that is going to be able to allay a lot of suppressive fire. But in the meantime, it looks like Killer has some Mutalisks in the air, so now his turn right now, the Zerg's turn to get some damage in. He flies in with a couple of Mutalisks. He's only got 6 though, but he has 7 more on the way, so that's about to double up into 13. Now, if these 6 initial Mutas can kill off the missile turrets or at least delay their production, then he's going to have a great window of opportunity to fly in here and do a lot of damage. It looks like he picks off or at least delays 2 of those turrets, and the rest of the Mutas, I think they've just hatched out right now, so they're a little bit late to the party. Actually, Killer was just not, he didn't have the rally point set over to his new Mutas, so he gets in there, but he doesn't really do any, you know, big damage. Similar to how Ver kind of walked across the map and didn't do any big damage, these Mutalisks now are up in the air and they're not really paying for themselves. And that's really important for Zerg to be able to pay for the cost of the Mutalisks. You really need to make them worth it. I think Killer's definitely on the same page as me here, as he's kind of got all of his Mutas conglomerated now, and he's moving out now. He is got to move out. He's got to do some damage. At the very least, delay this third from going down, which has just gone down right now. But at the same time, look at this. This is where the map really comes into a mind of its own. As you guys can see, all the new maps really generating cool playstyles. As Ver's kind of taking the bottom route, the mutas are taking the left route. So we have, well, actually the mutas now deciding to intercept the Marines, and they are going to be able to pick off the reinforcements. And this is actually really nice for Killer because he picks off everything. He can pick off the tank, and he can camp the reinforcement route here and essentially strangle these tanks and Marines off by themselves. Is he going to do it? No, he will not. There's no more reinforcements to really pick off, and he's just going to go for the all-out flank here. He's got to get up in there before those tanks siege up, but they are already sieged up, so this is a very crucial time, and he's going to go ahead and just go in. Those Banelings have got to hit the Marines, but the Banelings not able to get really deep in there because of so many tanks, but at the end of the day, I think... Oh, I was going to say the mutas may have been able to push those Marines back, but Ver just barely surviving with enough Marines there to hold off that assault. So... once again, a very even trade between Ver and Killer. Killer just kind of getting up in there and almost killing that army. Certainly coming out, killing all the siege tanks is a big victory for him. But pretty even trade at this point. It looks like another tank is going to go down. Certainly seems like this is the attack path that both players have kind of been choosing all game long. And remember, this map, which is Atlantis Spaceship, has several attack paths. You can go through the middle, you can go through the top. But at the moment in time, both players opting to go with the bottom route, and we do actually have both of them expanding to the triple gas location. We'll have to see if they opt to use it. It's quite possible they don't even know about it, though, because it is in the back. Here, look at this, guys. It is protected by gas right now. Actually, they do see the gas. Maybe they just don't want to get it. I'm not entirely sure what the thought process behind that is. But they should certainly make use of that rich Vespine geyser in the background. We'll have to see if they do in the moments ahead. But we once again have more blood that could potentially be spilled on this battle path here. The Marines stemming up and running away from the Lings and Banelings. Remember, very important for Ver not to get struck by Banelings there. And that's why Marines are always kind of running away and spreading themselves to kind of mitigate that explosive Baneling damage. And of course Stim helps very much in that regard because it speeds up the Marines momentarily, and here we go, Marines running behind the heavy mech backbone, protecting themselves from the Banelings, but the Banelings still getting up in there, doing some decent damage, but not enough to kill the rest of the Marines. And with the Marines standing, especially with Stim, they will be able to repel the Mutalisks pretty damn easily. So back and forth action just left and right now over this game. Killer now actually has a very powerful caster in the mix. That is the mighty Infester. And Infestors are going to be really good here. Reason being, a good fungal growth will prevent the Marines from running away. It'll lock them down for the Banelings. It just does so many different things. So the Infestor is going to be absolutely key here. We'll have to see if he gets a good fungal or not. Here we go. Once again, Ver just getting up in there. He's got to be very careful. It looks like he's going to stim away and get right next to his rest of his other Marines and tanks. But the Baneling's getting very close to those Marines. He's got to be careful. The Mutas have just picked off all the tanks. And now the Infestor comes in to finish him off with the fungal growth. But there's still a couple Marines on the right side. And those Marines pick off the rest of the Infestors. And oh, a couple more Mutalisks going down that needs to go down. But I think Killer will be able to clean up those tanks in the middle of the field. Another well-played attack by Killer, but really not that far ahead in this game because as you guys can see, Ver is dropping the top left-hand expansion now as both players are approaching their 5th and 6th bases apiece. This is just getting really long and intense. Those Marines will be cleaned up, however, so Killer cleans up the assault, but once again now on the bottom side of Atlantis Spaceship we have a secondary assault coming in. So Ver is just keeping the pressure on, and this is the thing, once he gets into super macro gear he will lay down the wood, and he will get up in there and play very aggressively. It looks like he is going to get surrounded though, as there's a couple of paths that the Zerglings can come through, but if Ver can get some good stutter step micro here, he may be able to clean up the Zerglings, and he's doing just that. Very well played. I don't know if these Mutas want to get up in there. They will probably want to run away, and all these Infestors going down as well. They had built up so much energy, which, you know, that energy is something that you really don't want to lose. That's the time for the Infestors that you kind of threw away. The cost for the initial payment really just kind of wasted, but it looks like Killer doesn't really care because now he's going for Brood Lords, which are going to be a very powerful unit to have indeed. Let's just check the upgrades real quick. The Marines just finishing 3-3 right there. They are fully upgraded. We also have some ghosts coming out. The mech, the backbone of this army, is about to get +2 weapons, so their siege tank shots are about to do even more damage. I believe it's going to be, I think it's like 50 plus 10, so it's going to be 60. The Zerglings have 1-1. They're about to complete 2-2, so Killer's not too far behind in terms of economy, excuse me, in terms of upgrades, and he saves that hatchery with 3 HP. Unbelievable save right there. Oh my god. I don't know how long that's going to stay alive, because one solo Marine could run in there and stim and take it out, and it looks like Ver doesn't really want to engage here. Those Broodlords are in a beautiful spot just over the chasm, destroying everything, and Ver has no answer for the Broodlords right now. He has no Vikings. He's got to get more Ghosts on the field if he's going to be able to deal with that, because remember, Ghosts can snipe Broodlords and take them out very easily. But it's either that, you get Ghosts or you get Vikings, one or the other. But at this moment in time, really, Ver doesn't have enough of either, and so he's actually fighting with SCVs. He's got 12 SCVs here. Oh no, excuse me, he's got I don't know how many SCVs he's got. Yeah, he's got a lot of SCVs there. That's about 6 SCVs in his army. But it looks like Killer making an assault here with his Broodlords on the production tab. We also have a nuclear missile right now, guys. That is a nuclear missile being built right now in the late game. Nukes certainly can be very handy dandy. And a medevac moving to the top left-hand side of the map. So action all over the map. EMP shockwaves hits the infestors, but not before they get a massive fungal growth on those Marines. And the Baneling's just gonna roll right in, destroying all the Marines. Oh my god, Killer has destroyed the entire Terran army from the inside out. He's gutted it, and what a beautiful fungal growth. Even though the EMP smacked right on top of the infestors, they had enough energy built up so that it was negated. They could get their solo fungals out, and they were able to lock down that army. But that medevac at the top left, meanwhile, has been able to take out that hatchery. Looks like this hatchery eventually died as well. I don't know what killed it. I'm supposing a solo Marine. And so, Ver, even though he lost his army, he is actually striking at the heart of the Zerg, which is their drone line, their economy, and he's going right for the main right now. Obviously, Killer cannot let the main go down, and in the meantime, he's actually going to lose his Broodlords in the middle of the map. He's lost every single Broodlord, was unable to protect it, and he still has not cleaned up the Marines inside his main base. So this is a terrible situation for Killer, who just lost a large portion of his economy. But look at that. All of a sudden, with Ultralisk coming out and a hatchery evicting a command center, I guess Killer has suddenly kind of pulled himself back into it with Ultras now. Nonetheless, he has just got so many banked up, so much minerals, so much gas. And remember, guys, in StarCraft 2, the more minerals and the more gas you bank up when you're maxed out, the quicker you can reproduce your forces, the more forces you can get on the map. You know, all of a sudden, even though Killer took a devastating strike to his economy, he is certainly in this game. He's got these Ultras out right now. They're about to achieve their maximum upgrades in terms of 5-3, and when they come out on the field, they are going to be so devastating. In fact, it looks like Killer's just going to go right for this, and those Marines are doomed. They have absolutely no chance in hell, although there are 4 Ghosts in here launching a lot of sniper fire, laying down the suppressing attack. Will they be able to keep the Ultras at bay? I don't think so. Those Ultras are just too strong. They just finished their 5-3 upgrade. We have 42 Zerglings and 4 more Ultras about to charge onto the field. It is a herd of Ultras right now that is basically marching across Atlantis spaceship and just doing so much damage. That herd is about to multiply in a couple of seconds. And a nuclear missile has been launched. I heard the nuclear launch and I don't know where it is. Oh my god, this game is just getting intense. I have no idea, guys, where the nuclear missile is being launched at, unfortunately. No idea at all. So, I'm looking around the map right now and I really don't know where. I'm assuming that, well, I'm assuming it landed already by now, so maybe we'll find out later on. But right now it does look like 2 more nukes are being constructed by Ver. So Ver getting into a mode here where he's got to land like a money nuclear missile if he wants to stay in this game. He's essentially only down to 1 mining base right now, right here in the middle of the map. If he doesn't land a money nuclear missile on top of those Ultras, and even if he does, Ultras can survive a nuke. So I don't know. He's got to land like a really, really good nuke. Otherwise, he is just going to fall further and further behind. Right now, Killer is running rampant across the map. The Zerg Swarm has essentially octopused itself around the entire map and has stolen almost every single base. Ver, though, obviously wants to kill off that hatchery again. Will he be able to do it? And the more hatcheries he can kill, the better off he is. It looks like he lands his Marines right here. The drones and Zerglings are already there to fight for themselves, though. Although those Marines are 3-3 upgraded, so they are very, very strong. They are killing quite a few drones. Let's just look at the workers kill. 23, and it's continuing to skyrocket ahead. And we have another nuclear missile. There is the nuke. I see one of them. It looks like Killer may not be able to get his drones out in time. Oh! He gets his drones out at the very last second. Those larvae will go down, though. And I'm not sure where the ghost is. There it is. So Killer gets one nuke off, but really not really paying for itself unless he can finish off this hatchery, which I highly doubt he'll be able to. And in the middle of the map, meanwhile, we have that growing herd of ultras. It's getting more and more dangerous to look at. They have 5-3. The Zerglings, I believe, have the crack upgrade as well. And I call it the crack upgrade, obviously, because it's kind of like a household name in Starcraft 2, but essentially it's adrenal glands, and it makes the Zerglings attack so much faster. You get it at Hive. You guys can see it's been researched already. So these Zerglings are crack upgraded, and when you've got cracklings, ultras, and infestors, there's not much a Terran player can do. We'll have to see if Ver can pull off a victory here. This is going to be very difficult to do. The Infestor's kind of laying down a little bit of a decoy in the front with the Infested Terrans. We did hear a nuke just get fired off, but this is a major battle going on right here. The fungal growth's going off over all the Marines. We do hear a lot of sniper fire from the Ghost, though, and unbelievably, I think he's going to be able to out-micro all these Ultras. I cannot believe he just killed off this entire Ultralisk army. That was unbelievable, and he lands a huge nuclear missile over all those drones. I cannot believe it. He just smacked a money nuke, and he killed off 20 or so drones at the top left-hand corner of the map. I was just like, you know, there's got to be, the nuke has got to be over here because I see a little red dot, and there it is. I catch the end portion of the nuclear fallout, and it destroys all the drones at this mining expansion. So really now, Killer is just mining off of one base, two bases, compared to a one base, two base Terran. And so, wow, I cannot believe this, but Ver may actually be back in this game after that. What a great attack by him. And those ghosts, man, you gotta give credit to those ghosts. When they lay down their sniper fire, which is a spell they cast, it does, I believe, 45 damage. If they just chain snipe the ultras, they can take them out so easily, and that is what we just witnessed right there. This game is so back and forth and back and forth. This map really kind of lending itself into an uber macro game with multiple attack paths. As I said before, it looks like Killer gonna try to attack through the left side of the map into that planetary fortress, only protected by a solo ghost, while Ver is gonna try to attack the bottom right where this hatchery is. So Killer kind of spreading his forces. Ver does not have his forces spread out, and as a result, that PF will go down. Fungal growth getting laid on those mules and SCVs. PF drops instantly, but that gives Ver the go-ahead to go for a base race here, as he will take the bottom right. So it's going to be eye for an eye. If you take one of my expansions, I'll take one of your expansions, and that's why the hatchery is going to go down. So really, both players kind of trading off right there. It's a very close game, and it's down to the wire now because the money is starting to run pretty low for these two guys, especially considering they just lost one of their key crucial support bases. The only way they're going to stay in this game at this point now is just superior micro and decision making. And I guess raw forces, which Killer still has a ton of ultras. He was banking so many resources. Just look at the spending right there for the Zerg player. His army at 45,000. Really not nearly as much technology, but who cares? You know, Zerg isn't about tech, it's about swarming your opponent with more numbers, and that's what Killer has been doing. But to Ver's credit, he has been researching a lot of technology. Look at all these ghosts, man. Their EMP shockwaves, their nuclear blasts, they have been holding the Zerg at bay against impossible odds. Really, I didn't even think those what, 5 or so ghosts could hold off this many ultras, and they did. Along with the combined support of the Terran army, obviously. But we have another nuke here coming down. The Broodlord's getting out of there at the very last second. Great pull right here. Killer just paying attention to the map. That nuke will fall, but it will not be able to kill much besides the larva. And so that nuke does not do that much damage, and it's probably... Ghost did just die right there to an Overseer. So this game getting pretty intense right now because Ver is trying to get as many nukes as he can in. He's trying to just kind of eke out incremental advantages, but eventually all hell is going to break loose. There's going to be a big battle in the middle of the field, and it's going to come down to who has the most men standing. And I gotta say, even though there's a lot of ultras here, unless Killer gets a great surround, I would imagine those ghosts with all that built up, pent up energy and rage, they are going to snipe the crap out of those ultras, and I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do. I did hear a nuke go down, I'm not quite sure where, but it looks like we have a huge engagement. The Fungals, money Fungals, but now the ghosts launching all their sniper fire. They're just laying waste to the ultras. Look at all the blood being spilled on the middle of the battlefield. And Ver destroys, ravages, and tears apart the Zerg army from the inside out. Nothing that Killer could do right there. I mean, honestly, just a horrible engagement spot, as well as his forces were choked into a little compact area where the Terran loves it best. Terrans are not claustrophobic. That's obviously a trait that is inherent for Zerg. Genetic defect, I would say. But Ver just destroyed the entire Zerg army. None of his ghosts went down. I don't think a single one died, and he just laid a sniper firing round against those Zerg forces, and that was just a devastating loss. So all of a sudden now, I'm not quite sure what Killer can do. A couple of Zerglings running back here to harass. A couple of Zerglings here preventing the from the command center from landing down. But this assault army, this major bio army, it's just a bio army, is just rolling through and destroying everything. Listen to that sniper fire. Just keeping those ultralisks away, and at this point, I don't know what Ver can do. I mean, that last battle was composed of Broodlords, Ultras, and Infestors, and you can't get better than that. But those ghosts, man, those ghosts are just so damn good. What do these two drones think they're going to do? They think they're going to take out the ghosts? I don't think so. And that last hatchery is going to go down as EMP launches in the face, just hurled to the face of those Infestors. They are neutered now. They cannot do a single damn thing. And Ver is about to take this game. I cannot believe what I'm seeing right here. This is one of the most epic Zerg vs. Terrans I've seen in quite some time. Killer with the last engagement here. Pretty good engagement, but too many ghosts there, and that's the end. That's got to be the end of the game. That's been the name of the game so far. Basically, it's just sniper fire, owning the day. So Ver taking absolute control into the middle of the map, expanding to the bottom right, which has really been this has been a contested location for a hot 10 or so minutes, but he finally controls it. He's mining over the top left as well. The Zerg player now is forced to distance mine. That's never a good situation, and at this point we may just be waiting for the white flag to raise up in a couple of seconds here. He's going to run these Zerglings in, which are crack upgraded. Can kill all these SCVs off, but a small victory in the face of great adversity right now for Ver. So there it is. Those Zerglings aren't even able to get the job done. That PF goes online, and Killer leaves the game without a GG. So, wow, what a epic brawl on Atlantis Spaceship. And of course, once again, one of the new maps. I'm very excited to be able to cast some of these cool new maps. Of course, brought to you courtesy of IPL. And once again, like I said before, these games were pre-casted already, so I have already seen the game a few days ago. But, it was a very good cast, and it was such a good game. I really wanted to bring it back for you guys. I felt like it would be an absolute waste to not be able to do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hats off to Ver, my teammate, for pulling through right there. It was such a close one. That was a nail-bitingly close game. And it obviously could have went either way. I think that the turning point really was those ghosts and just the superior engagements from Ver. I think if Killer had maybe, gosh, I don't know, maybe if he had neural parasited a ghost and EMP'd the entire ghost army, that would have helped so much. But of course it's very hard to pull off. So I don't know what the Zerg player Killer could have done to win that game, because it was such a close one, and it really just came down to the micro. I think just better micro, better decision making. Obviously not letting all your drones die to a nuclear missile at the top left. But you can't fault him. I mean, he was engaged, he was locked in combat down here. And even I, as a caster, couldn't catch a couple of those nukes either. So great game, great awareness, great StarCraft 2 battle between these two players, and I hope you guys enjoyed. So if you guys did, make sure to follow IPL. You guys can check out the links down below. You guys can also check me out. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. I'd appreciate any subscribers, and that's pretty much it for me, guys. Make sure to stay tuned, and this is HD, signing out.